Today, we are taking a look at Batman by Grant Morrison Omnibus Volume 1. And I do want to say, just a special congratulations to myself here, that this is my 30th full omnibus that I've read this year. Well, one I kind of didn't finish, but I'm going to count it as my 30th. Also, my 800th book that I reviewed this year, which is pretty awesome too on Goodreads, so go check me out on there. But anyway, let's get right into this volume. So this contains Batman's issues 655 to 658. Then we have a little skip because another story is being told, so then 663 to 683, which is a good chunk of this entire thing. And then you do get stories from the 52 issues 30 and 47, as well as DC Universe number 0. And I'll say right off the bat, Morrison is very hit or miss for me. He's never been a writer that I just have to read everything he's read. And when I do read it, I either love it or I hate it. And funny enough, when I first read this about 10 years ago, or maybe a little less than that, I hated this run. Well, I didn't hate the entire run, but I hated a lot of what's in this book. And upon rereading it, let's see if it changed my mind almost 10 years later and with all that DC knowledge now stuck in my head. And before we jump back into review, I did want to talk about an awesome guy who runs an awesome little business called Omni Bookmarks. And this guy is on Instagram. You can check him out right now. I'm showing you the page as we are talking, and he does phenomenal work if you're a big fan of bookmarks. And like me, I hate folding my pages. Even just a little turn on the edge really kind of irritates me. So these bookmarks have been my favorite new thing, and I love switching to bookmarks mattering what I'm reading, whether it be manga, comics, indie, Marvel, DC, whatever it is. I like to switch it up, and as you can see, he has made some extraordinary ones for me. He works very well with most people, and he can make custom designs for you, but he has so many badass ones too online. You gotta check those out. So this is not a paid sponsor. This guy's just awesome. I want to promote him. Please go check it out. If you want a bookmark for your omnibuses, look no further. These are high quality, good ass shit. There are three major parts to this run, and this one is basically the Bruce Wayne part of it. And so we begin with Bruce trying to be more, well, Bruce. He's Batman so much that even his own butler, Alfred, is like, Bruce, please stop. Your deep, heavy, growling voice from the movies is coming into your regular Bruce Wayne persona. And so I like this tone that it kind of sets in the beginning, that it's not just going to be all so serious and all dour, which is a nice change of pace for Batman. But soon we get introduced to Damian. This is Batman's son, and now he's pretty much very popular. Everybody knows who he is, but this reveal is both great in my opinion, but the backlash from fans was not pretty. And so that arc starts off with Batman facing off against a bunch of man-bats, and then bam, after waking up, he's left with Damian having a sword to his neck and introducing himself as his son. So this leads to Bruce taking him in and trying to figure out what to do. But this is Damian, trained by the League and his insane mother, so he's vicious, he's an asshole, he beats the living shit out of Tim, and that really messes me up. And he also kind of locks Alfred in a closet. That I didn't like. That's not nice, Damian. But this entire arc is insanely fun and has a lot of great moments throughout, and it's probably my favorite story of the bunch in this entire omnibus. So after that arc wraps up, some people think that Damian just became Robin right away. That is not true. Soon we revert back to the Black Glove mystery arc, and this almost feels like Scooby-Doo, but in a fun way. It has a nice twist at the end, has great art, has more fun stories than I originally thought when I read this, so I felt like at least I enjoyed it this time. Again, it's more lighthearted part of Batman's story, and I have to say it's probably the weakest part of this entire omnibus, because it just doesn't have the same feel that the rest does. This feels almost like a story in between everything, though you do get Batman being a detective, and that's always a plus for me. And you have Tim as Robin, and it's great to see him work with Bruce so well here. Then we head into the arc that introduces the concept of Batman training 3 cops to help him take down crime just in case he wasn't able to, and one of these cops, fully dressed up as a Batman-like, comes into play and tries to hunt down Bruce. It's a great little mind-twisty and fantastic payoff that helps build up the RIP arc. That's the final arc in the first I'd say, trilogy for Morrison's run on Batman. And this is a really great arc, and I really do love the kind of twists of what Batman was doing and why he was training these people. It's just overall insane. Then we have the RIP arc, and this is Dr. Hurt, a person who hates both Batman and Bruce Wayne, going after Bruce where it hurts the most, taking aim for his mind, and that's the strongest part of Bruce. And when Bruce is, near insane, he unleashes a much more sinister, no-holds-barred Batman who will get shit done. So this crazy last arc leads Bruce to go pretty much head-to-head with the entire Black Glove organization, and it's a nice bloody battle with some really epic moments, even though I have to say sometimes it's really hard to tell what the fuck is happening, but that's more because Morrison likes to jump around in his storytelling, and that's a negative I will talk about a little bit in a second. But overall, I want to say that this is a lot stronger than when I first read this in 2015, and I think the biggest reason why is because I didn't read a lot of Batman before that. I read Batman, but not like I do now. And it holds up really well if you started reading Batman from like the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. Now that I've read a ton of storylines and arcs, this really worked for me. Lots of nice throwbacks, but a lot of new mythos that adds to the Batman. And I really do enjoy the mixture of the fun, violent, over-the-top adventures that really help Morrison have a ton of fun with his cast. On top of that, there are some of the best Batman art I have ever seen in this omnibus, from the likes of like Tony Daniels and many more. So overall, this is just a fast-paced, really fun omnibus that I read in about 3 days. So if you like Batman, I think you'll really enjoy this. Now I will say, the negative part I was talking about, it has flaws, like the sometimes sloppy and confusing jumping scenes that Morrison is just known for. If you haven't read a Grant Morrison comic, I prepare you to say that he doesn't do storyline telling like most people. He likes to jump around, and you almost feel like you skip 2-3 pages to get to the climax. That does happen here. Not as much as I originally thought, but I still felt it even reading much slower this time around. And again, it is overall goofy at times. So if that's not something you like from Batman, if you like the more grounded, dark version of him, this might feel a little disjointed, and the Black Glove arc is the weakest part of this omnibus. So it's just good, not great, and it kind of slows down because it is about 6 issues. But is it worth reading? Yes, I do think it's worth reading. I originally would have given this omnibus about a 2 out of 5 when I read it in 2015, so I don't think this is very user-friendly for new readers. But if you have some Batman knowledge like in your mind, if you know a little bit about the history, maybe some 80s and 90s and 2000s, early 2000s storylines, then I think it's worth picking up, because 10 years later, just about, I reread it and it went from a 2 out of 5 to 3.5 out of 5. That is a huge jump, and I do think it's worth the price of admission here now that I've reread it and it really turned around for me. So I hope you guys try this out. If you did like this review, as always, hit that like button. That means a lot. If you loved it, hit the subscribe button. That means I got more stuff coming out that you can enjoy. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and hopefully I'm getting this out on Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy.